What's up, MOT? Sean Straight here from Max Options Trading. This video is going to be for BABA puts that we played last week. Right here, we opened puts on a Monday. I did mention that BABA loves to run, even if it's overextended, regardless of TA. Sometimes, but I mean, it's a Chinese Amazon, right? So it's very fundamentally affected. So a news or data, could cause like a simple, huge run up or, drop. But technically speaking, it did seem very overextended to me. Not only that, we were running into a very strong zone of resistance on the weekly chart. As you can see here, this 123 to 120 area, this area in general. If you've been watching all my videos, I never like to pinpoint an exact area as a resistance or support because it's that general zone that's giving a lot of selling pressure or buying pressure. It's not that exact number. So when I was looking at this chart, we had the short-term downtrend resistance here. Every touch we had here, we had a lot of big pullbacks here, right? And also looking at the daily chart, we had a huge run up from $60. The stock pretty much doubled in 2 months, just crazy. But I noticed that the volume spike was slowing down. You can see when we were pumping, we had gradual, huge green days like this pops. But ever since then, we slowed down on a pumping chart. And again, if you remember, whenever a stock goes up, but you see a decline in volume without any pops like this, it's buyer's exhaustion, right? And you can see that in the candlesticks here too. We see massive, massive, massive green candles, right? Consolidate, massive, massive green volume candles. But as you see, as we get towards the end of January or mid-January, you can see the buyers' candles getting smaller and smaller, and bearish postures slowly start to pop up. That's a hanging man bearish candle. That's a evening star bearish candle. That's a bearish engulfing candle. 2 full red days there. And if you also look at the 4-hour chart here, you could argue that this could be a bull flag, but getting involved in calls up here, for me, the risk and reward is just not there, So that's why we decided to go with the put side play. Nothing long term. I do think that BABA is actually reversing all the way back up to possibly even fill the 160 gap, but it definitely needs a pullback. Now, going back to the 4-hour chart, divergence again. I love playing divergence because it's the key to identifying if the momentum is going to continue or not. If you have a downtrending divergence channel, whereas on the stock chart, we have uptrending chart structure, right? Which means that even though the stock's going up, the momentum is slowing down, okay? Same thing with hourly. Let's get rid of these lines here. Same thing with hourly. We may have broken out of this, mini flag formation here, but we're seeing a slowdown in momentum. Again, we have a high, but on the divergence, we have a high and a low. Whereas comparing to like the overall other chart structure, everything else is looking bearish other than the fact that we are sort of in an uptrend here. So really, this play was meant for like a short term, swing like a week or two out. And let me actually play the button here now. Where is the replay? There you go. All right, so we open really red. We got in a little towards midday. Okay, right around there. Let's get to the 5. Yeah, so my entry trigger was around 6:20 my time. The reason for this is because when I saw this huge flush down at open, you never ever want to trace right away. One, because of theta. Why would you buy a put side contract when it's going to be really expensive down here? Since the stock is dropping, put side premium is going to be really high. So you always want to wait for a corrective bounce. So I waited for a corrected bounce, and this 120 area was a key because this was the range resistance here, right? This trend line here, right? This whole big weekly range resistance was 120. We briefly broke it, but we got rejected really hard and flushed all the way down. So my entry trigger was looking at a rejection at the retest of the 120 area. So we got the first retest of the 120 rejection candle. You can see all these upside wicks, rejection, 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 and bearish candle. This could have been your trigger. This could have been also your trigger too. Anytime we retest the key zone and you see a lot of these reversal candlesticks, the next candlestick, you just want to make sure it's the opposite color. So if it's like we're waiting for a corrective bounce and you're looking at a put side entry, then you can enter at the next red candle after the initial rejection. So we drop, corrective bounce, reject, 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 then boom, red candle. That could be an entry. Or you could have also just waited out a little more, do another rejection fail, and red candle entry right here. Okay? It's not this candle because we didn't quite, enter the 120 right away. I want to see the stock push through 120 and get immediately pushed down. And that's what happened right there. And play this out. We did actually have one green day, but I held it because one, I had theta on my side. I had 2 weeks out on my contracts. Two, market was looking to pull back. Three, this area of resistance, again, on the weekly chart that we're looking at, we haven't broken that since almost a year or two. So speed it up a little more. Actually, we can just cancel here. Yeah. So basically, after that initial entry day, it ended up gapping up, but again, 120 rejection, it just couldn't hold, flush down, and huge gap down yesterday, and we closed this out for how much? About 150. Oh, 200%. Oh, I think I trimmed at 150 and I closed the rest at 200% gains. Not holding anymore because the contract does expire this week. We got filled at $8.90, which is $890 per contract. Daily chart honestly does look bearish as well. But I'm not gonna hold it. Like I said, Baba is a very highly fundamentally affected stock, so I don't want to risk holding such a big trade and then possibly losing more gains from it. Thanks, guys.